If you have been following along for the last month, you would know that I participated in the Oiltober painting challenge, a challenge where I painted a new oil painting every day of the month. With 31 paintings laying around, I decided to bind them all together using the Single Sheet Coptic stitch binding method. The great thing about this method is that it allows the book to lay completely flat, and you can bind loose sheets of paper together and don't need to make signatures unlike other binding methods. Even though I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how to do this step by step, I will also link a few other tutorials down below which I found helpful. First step, we're going to make the covers. For the covers, I just repurposed the board from the back of the canvas paper pad that I used for the paintings themselves and wrapped them in some decorative paper. I used a glue stick as the adhesive and a ruler to smooth everything out. I find that cutting the paper on an angle like this finished the corners off really nicely. And to complete the covers, I added a piece of solid cardstock in a contrasting color that is an inch smaller than the rest of the cover so that there is a nice border. For the pages, I added a strip of cardstock to the edge that we will be binding so that I don't have to make holes in the paintings themselves. Next, I'm going to pierce the holes for the binding. The amount of holes that you pierce and how far apart you pierce them is up for personal preference. I just pierced 4 holes, which ended up being stable enough for this book size, which is 4 by 6 inches. I measured ½ inch in from the edge and ½ inch from the bottom. I just used a thumbtack to pierce the holes. It worked out pretty well. Grouping the stitches at the top and bottom like this instead of spacing them out evenly will add stability to the binding. I repeated the same process on all of the pages and on the cover. Before beginning the binding process, make sure that all of your pages are in the correct order that you would like them to end up in. For this particular type of binding, you will be needing separate needles for each hole. Mine came in a pack of 4, and I will link it where I got it from in the description below. You can use a straight needle for this, but a curved needle will make the whole thing way easier, trust me. Your needles don't actually need to be exactly bookbinding needles. Sometimes they're listed as upholstery or quilting needles. And as for the thread, I use upholstery thread. It is stronger and it doesn't tangle, so it doesn't need to be waxed. You can use waxed bookbinding thread or waxed embroidery thread. The waxed part will make it way easier to deal with since it won't tangle. And regular sewing thread isn't going to be strong enough for that, so I don't really recommend that for this type of binding. For each needle, I estimated the amount of thread needed by roughly measuring it like this across the holes 31 times because that's how many pages I have. Start with the last page of the book and the back cover. Take the page and insert the single threaded needle from the front of the page and pull it through until you have a little bit of thread left and tie a knot. Then insert your needle from behind the cover and pull through. Now insert the needle under the first loop that you made, just like this. Repeat this for all of the holes. Now place the second page and once again insert the needle from the front of the page and pull through. Next, pass the needle through the loop that you just made. Repeat this for all of the holes on the page. For the third page, once again insert the needle from the front of the page and pull through. But this time, slightly lift the page up and insert the needle under the loop on the page beneath it and pull through. For the fourth page, we're going to do the exact same thing. Needle through the front of the page and pull through. Then slightly lift the page and insert the needle under the loop on the page beneath it and pull through. At first, this may seem a little complicated, but once you get going and you get the hang of it, it gets really easy. I repeated the same thing for all of the pages, always inserting the needle from the front of the page and pulling through, then lifting the page up a little bit and inserting the needle under the loop on the page beneath it and pulling all the way through. Once you reach the end, bind the front cover just as you would have binded any page. Place the cover on top and insert the needle from the front of the cover and pull through. Then lift the cover up slightly and pass the needle under the loop on the page beneath it and pull through. I did that one more time and then returned the needle to the inside of the book and tied a knot. Then cut the thread off. And here's the final book. Of course it isn't perfect, but I feel that's like a work of art in of itself. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. Thank you so much for following along on this ride, and I can't wait to share with you so many other videos are coming very soon. But until then, I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.